Come on. Actually, just let me do this game, please. You simply have to let me do this game. If not, at the very least, I have the things to say, you know, what was it? Akande smells like Borst. So I can still probably bypass the battle using that. But it would be nice to have a different companion with this. I can't imagine they lock you out of being able to take different companions from the ship. It would be real hard to justify. Oh, the door's locked, Captain. Sorry. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the case, but I don't. Yeah, it's not. It's not. We're taking, probably Sam, I guess. If Sam donates hack to us, that's fine. That's enough. Also, I have the ability to just, like, go and I wouldn't. Actually, I'd have to sell almost everything, but I would have the ability to respec, and if I respec, I would have the ability to, you know.
I believe I hear Felix and...
Everything is fine. Sam has... Yep, you have hack. And... increase your intimidate skill. I don't need that. I'll take Sam and Felix out on the mission then, I guess.
Aetherwave serial.
Let's quickly tinker with... Oh my god, it costs 81,000 to continue tinkering that gun. Good lord. Finn's Force, then. Okay. Nothing that I need to discuss on this area. Just take a different person out. We're fine. You checked. Sam has hack. Before you go, make sure you have 95 hack. I already do. I had 99 until I came here. So... I have to. I only needed that one extra point. But could have also respect? What do you mean could have also respect? Why would I also respect? Respecting is expensive. You know what I meant? I mean, taking Sam is like 15 extra points or something to it. Yeah. Like we're over now by... Like if I drank, I would be over by 19. We got this. Also, I do want to see if Sam and Ram have an interaction. I almost want to kind of like see if I can go into the room and have a conversation with them first, just in case. Let's make sure you don't have to go back to the ship. We just went back to the ship is the reason, though. Like, the only reason I was certain was that literally just exclusively focused on doing that. I'm past y'all. Straight over the top of your head. And no one's particularly worried about this. Well, I mean, if they're not worried about us breaking in. Appreciate it. So I'm going to try and see if I can solve this in a couple different ways without committing to any. So, like, going in and seeing if he'll talk. If he's not going to talk, then I'll immediately go into combat, obviously. Another one would be going in, doing the first hacking option, doing the second hacking option, possibly. It's possible the first hacking option of 100 just like completely prevents us needing to do the other one. But seeing as they're only 10 apart and like it's not increasingly difficult to get further levels, it seems like they kind of are both different options rather than like one option just exclusively being better than the other. You'd hope, at least. Otherwise, the most important 10 points in the game. Here's the final level, and hell yes, perfect. We're ready for it.
Are you?
just gonna spam my way through those dialogues at this point. Don't need them. Come on, Akande. It's entirely possible I can just, like, tell Ram to kill Akande instead. It's just I don't know where Akande is at the moment. Little tiny bit of a severe concern of mine. That one's sealed, so that's probably how he exit the room, if I had to guess. Right. Save. Then actually enter the room. Hi.
Heads up!
You gonna talk to me at all? Okay, so he doesn't talk. Not really one with words, apparently. Interestingly, in that poster, if you focus on it, you can see Rockwell's hand on Clark's shoulder, almost in like a controlling fashion. A little bit of a hint as to their relationship. Sex RAM override. Attempt RAM shutdown sequence. Activate weapon safeties. Damage to the RAM unit or labyrinth personnel will result in security or safety overrides being marked against employee error who's incorrectly locked in. I'm gonna just activate the safeties. Warning, they are operating below maximum efficiency. Defense and offensive capabilities weakened. Is that, like, you do that so you can go in, or... Can you actually fight, though? Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so... That's those ones. Designate RAM as a hostile intruder, and then... everything else just starts firing at it. That makes sense. Here's the final one that I want to check. Before, like, shutting down RAM entirely. And it's this.
Entering quiet mode.
No, you don't see anything. You've never seen anything. That's right. Told him he'd never seen anything. Well, that's where all the enemies were gonna come from, I guess. Fine. This is my kind of crazy? I don't need to shut him down to get past him. You kidding me? I want him on my side as we leave. Hibernation champion key. Hibernation champion key. Can I? No. Can I? Can I? You don't even have pockets, though. Get house. Alright, never mind. We're not going to be able to get the key off him. Fine. There you go. Attempt override. Ah, okay. So attempting the override requires me to have the information or hack 100. But the thing is, in order to get the ability to get to this screen, I have to have hack 100. So I guess it's just so that if I miss one of them, I can use that. Yeah, administrators may only bypass 2 of these passwords. Okay, so not only did I not need all of them, I only needed 1. Good lord. All right. Akande smells like Borst. Taking that, thank you. Coming for you, Akande. I beat his booty so hard before we even began the fight. We're suddenly getting very luxe. This is feeling like an Akande kind of area. Or rather just like a leadership kind of area.
I won't just die.
Akande, we were fine to have a conversation. But if you don't want to do that, I don't have to.
Rotation and maintenance job fulfilled.
The chairman's key, an ornate master key for the labyrinth. It likely opens the prison cell at the very top of the facility.
Get me out of here!
Confront Sophia. Yeah, that's a confrontation and a half, I'd say. Nothing else for me to do except for, hey. Hello. Right there.
You don't know how glad I am to see you. You did the right thing. Akande was a monster. Her death was much deserved, and long overdue. And you lunatic, you broke into the board's own fortress just to rescue one doddering old man. You are absolutely out of your mind, and I can't begin to thank you enough.
Are you alright? What did they do to you? Are you kidding? The board never stood a chance against me. You know I wouldn't let anything happen to you, Phineas. Do you have any idea how much trouble I went through to save you? Are you kidding?
Ah, all in a day's work for you, huh?
So it is.
You've broken the board's stranglehold on this colony, and you saved my life. But there's still so much we have yet to accomplish.
DLC.
You and I are going to have to work harder than ever to save Halcyon. I'm afraid the situation is far worse than any of us ever anticipated.
I love the sound of that. Great. I was about to pop open some drinks and celebrate.
I would like nothing more than to celebrate this victory, but we have a serious problem on our hands. Earth has gone dark. We haven't received a single message in 3 years. There's been no communication, no signals, nothing. 2 years ago, the Earth's Directorate's frigate disappeared on their way back to Earth. We don't know what they discovered when they arrived, or if they arrived at all.
Hold on, Doc. Are you telling me the Earth went dark 3 years ago, and the board's just been covering this up?
They've been incredibly effective at concealing the truth. Right now, the only people in the colony who know are standing in this room. We're in serious trouble, my friend. Do you know what this means for Halcyon? We can't rely on Earth for support anymore. We've been cut loose. We're entirely on our own.
That's good, though. Wait, hold on. I need to ask you something. We have a lot of work ahead of us. We best get started.
Yeah?
I'll ask something. Oh, woo, okay. Dialogue time. What do you think happened?
I don't know what happened, but something must have gone horribly wrong. I don't know why Earth's gone silent. I don't even know if Earth exists anymore. We have no connection back to Earth, and return is likely impossible. We're completely alone out here.
I sent a missive to Earth, though. How do you know all of this?
I heard it from Akande herself. She tried to pressure me into joining her side, you see. Tried to make me realize that all hope is lost, and that we are alone. She was half right. We are alone, and we're going to have to fend for ourselves, because there's no telling what's happened to Earth.
You mentioned a frigate disappearing?
You might have heard of the Earth Directorate's frigate. Half the colony's entire military was on that ship. They were returning to Earth when they vanished without a trace. That was 2 years ago. We haven't heard a word from them since. Whatever happened to Earth likely happened to them.
Or they've set up their own whole colony. You said there haven't been any new messages from Earth.
Yes, Akande mentioned as much. Earth hasn't sent us a single message in 3 years. No one knows why. Akande had kept the truth to herself, perhaps with good reason. Can you imagine what would have happened if word got out? We'd have utter pandemonium.
A relay station near Scylla hasn't picked up any unencrypted messages in 3 years.
Yes, you were the one who reactivated that relay station, weren't you? Any message from Earth would have arrived unencrypted. It's been 3 years since our last message. The board tried using drones to contact Earth. Every one of those drones sent back the same encrypted message. Earth is completely silent.
There's something else. I know about the other colonists, Phineas.
I wasn't trying to hide the truth from you. But after all you've done, I owe you an explanation. Yes, I experimented on the Hope's colonists. Each of my experiments ended in catastrophic failure. Each of my subjects died in agony. You are my first and only success. I didn't tell you about the others because I didn't want to burden you. My failures are my own to bear, not yours.
I understand that. I forgive you, Phineas.
Thank you. Perhaps in time I'll learn to forgive myself. My apologies. I need to get a hold of myself. We've far more pressing issues to worry about right now.
I'm pretty sure.
If you have any more questions, ask me. I'll answer as best I can.
Pretty sure I just finished the game, so I don't know. I don't know what more pressing concerns we're going to immediately address.
Yes, you're right. The road is long, and we haven't a moment to waste. We must begin the revival process immediately, starting with the Hope's brightest minds, and then we're going to fix this damn colony, one problem at a time. We're going to need a leader, and I can't imagine a better person for the job than you. What do you say, old friend? Will you help us?
Somebody has to run this colony. I'm the only competent person left. You can count on me. I'll help you revive the other colonists. I'm going to do what I've always done. Whatever I want, all the time. So there's this constant saying about power of the people most best equipped to wield it are the people who want it the least, right? Or the people least equipped to wield power are the people who want it the most. I don't really aspire to hold any power at all. I was kind of just a wrench in the system. So sure, I got you, bud.
I can't tell you how glad I am to hear that. When I revived you, I thought we were going to save this colony all by ourselves, but I was wrong. We can't save Halcyon on our own. We're all going to have to pull together.
We're gonna need Pavati's help.
We are not a colony anymore. Our last connection to Earth has been severed. I don't know if we'll survive, but we're going to have to try our best.
I feel like this leadership is kind of pushed on you. To be fair, y'all just did a lot of leading
The
stuff.
OSI teaches that everything in the universe happens according to the grand plan. But the stranger that arrived in Halcyon was an unplanned variable. From the moment she landed in Emerald Vale, her actions altered the course of history. The events on Tartarus brought about the end of the board's authority. But the board's mistakes would haunt the colony for decades to come. The damage they left behind would require the work of a generation to repair. Dr. Phineas Wells began reviving a handful of the Hope's colonists. Engineers, scientists, technicians, and intellectuals. They were among the brightest minds the Earth had ever sent out into the stars. The Hope scientists and engineers woke up in a colony descending headlong into total collapse. With no way to return to Earth, they had no choice but to band together and devote themselves to the cause of saving Halcyon. The people of Halcyon were nothing if not hardy. In the absence of the board's authority, many of the colony's settlements banded together with a single purpose in mind: survival. Life was especially hard in the years to come. Some towns dissolved by attrition and starvation, but most of them found a way to carry on. In the years to come, Halcyon was forced to reckon with its newfound freedom. The board was gone, and for better or worse, the colony was responsible for its own destiny. As the colony struggled to survive, the inspirational story of the iconoclast spread like wildfire.
Yes.
Zora's focus on logistics made for a safer monarch, where the iconoclasts enjoyed a surge of new blood looking to join the ranks from struggling townships. Life on Monarch slowly improved from a desperate fight for survival to prosperous growth and more permanent strength. Sublight Salvage adapted to the changes in Halcyon, shifting their business model to suit the times. Their claims of legitimacy were scrutinized, but ultimately unquestioned. Lilia Hagen would continue to protect her family as ruthlessly as ever. The collapse of Edgewater left its workers bereft of any purpose in life. Most of them made their way to Adelaide McDevitt's camp, hoping to ingratiate themselves into her favor. Adelaide accepted only a few to her community. The rest were turned away and likely died of starvation. Nevertheless, Adelaide's camp grew into a well-established town. Adelaide McDevitt refused to cooperate with the ongoing effort to save Halcyon from collapse. A sympathetic deserter stole a copy of her research and delivered it to the Hope's scientists. It is unclear how useful Adelaide's research was. An optimistic estimate suggests her work may have bought Halcyon another few years of survival. Adelaide would never know. She died that winter. Under the leadership of Junlei Tennyson, the Groundbreaker held firm against corporate influence. The ship's mechanical stability gave Junlei the time to educate a promising generation of engineers, schooled in her family's traditions. The future of the Groundbreaker looks promising. The rediscovery of the Hope and the abandonment of the lifetime employment program forced Byzantium to come to terms with some uncomfortable realities about the state of Halcyon. While Byzantines were reluctant to surrender the luxuries they'd grown accustomed to, the board's diminished authority gave them little choice in the matter. Nearly everyone had to learn to make do with less. Some even had to get jobs. It was a dark time indeed.
God forbid.
Your influence shifted Ellie's perspective. She finally admitted, albeit grudgingly, that she just might need other people. Sometimes. With a steady income from the life insurance payouts, she was finally able to afford a ship of her own. She hired a small crew and flew supply missions to communities on the fringe. Some of them were even legal. Life in Halcyon was sobering for Felix Millstone. The grand revolution he dreamed of never came. There was no great awakening for the colony, no celebrations in the streets. There was only the hard, desperate work of trying to repair a broken colony. Felix never had a head for numbers, but if there was labor to be done, he was there to help. Eventually, Felix realized that the work of a revolution was done with two hands. As much as he enjoyed his adventures aboard the Unreliable, the vicar, known as Max, eventually decided that it was time to move on, to live out the life he had sought so long to create. He knew there were many in the colony who carried burdens much worse than the ones he had struggled with, and he devoted himself to easing their suffering wherever he could. He only ever took up arms again to defend the defenseless. Unshackled from a lifetime of striving and fighting the universe and himself, Vicar Maximilian de Soto was finally at peace. Once the matter with the Hope colonists was resolved, Junlei bashfully asked Parvati if she'd like to join her permanently on the Groundbreaker, and Parvati enthusiastically, if somewhat awkwardly, agreed. The stories of her adventures spread across the colony, and Parvati soon found herself the center of attention. Having served as the engineer of a renowned spacecraft, tramp freighters and wildcat miners sought her out by name, and in no time, she was a fixture in the Groundbreaker's mechanical ecosystem. She and Junlei were never far apart. Nyoka returned to Monarch to take another crack at making a permanent life for herself. She formed the Charon Group, a mercenary outfit of ragtag survivalists and wilderness experts. Anyone in need of a guide or just looking to throw back a beer and swap stories could find her camping on the trail or clearing an infestation. The SAM unit that accompanied you spread awareness of the product line's superior sanitation and maintenance capabilities across what was left of the colony. This led to a boost in SAM unit sales. Did you know that SAM units are the longest-lasting, toughest-acting cleaning solution in Halcyon? Minister Clark was released from house arrest, and his contact with you gave him a sense of renewed purpose and vigor. Once it became clear that no help would be coming from Earth, he threw his considerable efforts and talents into helping Halcyon manage the crisis before it. As for Dr. Phineas Wells, he spent his remaining years in his orbital lab. Though he was always haunted by the failures of his past, he was determined to make things right by building toward the future. Dr. Wells was able to revive many more scientists and engineers than he first expected, thanks to the additional batch of chemicals you stole from the Ministry. Wells never forgot about the human lives that were lost in acquiring these chemicals. The revival project was hard and painful work, but in the end, despite limited resources, over half the Hope's colonists were successfully revived. Even after Wells passed away, the Hope scientists and engineers worked night and day to pull Halcyon from the brink of collapse. Their efforts continue to this day, which may be reason enough for optimism. Dr. Wells laid the groundwork for the project to save the colony, but he would never live to see the fruits of his labor. He passed away a few years later. His work was carried on by the scientists and engineers he revived. Life will never be the same in Halcyon. It is widely agreed that the colony has a chance of stabilizing within a generation, owing to the hard work and determination of the surviving colonists. Recovery is a distant goal, and the path is long and uncertain. But the people of Halcyon carry on, determined as ever. And what about you, the unplanned variable in the history of Halcyon? Long after Wells passed away, you carried on his work with more energy, determination, and brilliance than he could ever muster. The years that followed were hard, but Halcyon survived by the efforts of the Hope's most promising colonists, the greatest of which was you. No one knows what's happened to Earth, and no one knows what the future has in store for Halcyon. All we know for certain is this: the name of the Unreliable and that of its intrepid captain will remain the subject of countless stories for years to come.
That's right, Captain Alex Hawthorne. Well, I'm gonna take a moment before I turn the camera back on. I loved Pavati's end. Perfect. It's exactly everything it needed to be. I knew that there was going to be some sort of a defining ending to the worst part of the game. I don't. I was waiting for that kind of like Fallout style. This is what happened to these people you interfered with. This is what happened to these people. This is what happened to these people, which is why I was so incensed in getting quest lines perfectly done. I was really happy to see that Zora's, I can turn this on now as well. I was really happy to see that Zora's mission wasn't ruined entirely, or rather the future of Monarch wasn't ruined entirely by the fact that we didn't get Sanja. Well, thank you to each of every one of you for having tuned in for any part of or all of the series that's been going. Couldn't log off before that happened. Yeah. Silly. Thank you for having us along on the adventure. Each day not only entertained but also lifted your spirits. Hope this makes it worth your time. Sincerely, much more than you know. Thank you. Over the course of this entire series, specifically, can we get some emote spam in chat? Rapso 5 heart, possibly, for Silly. Over the course of the entire series, Silly has been here making sure that this is not only something worth my time, but also engaging, being here, driving the story as well. For the moment, my name has been Rhapsody. The name of the game has been The Outer Worlds. Hopefully you on YouTube have been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time. Alright, YouTube folk left. How's it going? Aiden, thank you very much for the 5 gift tier subs to the random to the community in random. Brewhawk, Frax95, Thorsparker, Sergeant Dan, Duck, Ori. Welcome to the Republic. Enjoy your emotes in chat and welcome. I am so out of sorts right now. Enjoy your emotes in chat and welcome to the Republic. I found the game short for the price and kind of rushed towards the end, but was by no means a bad game, but I feel like some more content would be amazing. I agree. I agree that more content would be amazing. I'm fine with it as a $60 product. Personally. Especially considering how many hours I spent in it. But, you know, I guess, you know, if you're not necessarily just going full completion. Actually, Crispin Freeman did Charles Rockwell. Huh. That makes sense. Anyone else in here a recognizable name? How many hours did you get? Let me see if Epic will just tell me that. Compared to this, you wouldn't buy a Fallout game for more than a penny? Depends on the Fallout game. 50 hours? Yeah, I think it's 50 hours. I'll check, but does Steam, sorry, does the Epic Store show you hours played? 68 hours. So what's next for the Rhapsody stream? I am thinking the next one's gonna be Bumbo. I don't think I'll stream tomorrow. I'll probably take a day off. And then, actually, interestingly, I don't have to take days off when I would be usually recording with Rito, because Rito's extremely unfortunate mouth surgery means that we're not going to be recording on those days. So instead, I just have freedom to stream any day. So I'll probably take a day off and then come back and do some Bumbo. Yeah, Legend of Bumbo. We did a good playthrough in a genocide playthrough in Supernova, squeezed out most of it as you could, which was about 50 hours of gameplay. Yeah. Yeah, it's it seems like, you know, 50 hours, especially considering the quality of the writing and the quality of the acting, to me seems reasonable. Do a corporate run? I do want to do a corporate run, but the corporate run, like, obviously siding with the board, dumb, Supernova, and no companions. I'd be doing all of those at the same time. But I would like either DLC in the game or like a significant patch before something like that. There's something like that that we want to do. Just because, you know, it'd be nice to rotate back around to some other games. I have intensely enjoyed every single moment that I've spent in the Outer Worlds. But now that it's done, we can go back to playing some other games. Because obviously my idea was, you know, just stream the Outer Worlds until I'm done streaming the Outer Worlds, and then stream something else, I guess. So I'm thinking probably Bumbo. I don't necessarily want to immediately go back into a game that has like a story. So probably like Bumbo, Gungeon, STS, those kinds of things. Rito! I was here. It came when I saw the credits so I can watch the VODs through. Hey, bud. Exclamation mark Rito in chat. I'll do it myself. Best of luck with the surgery, Rito. Can we get some Rhapsody 5 hearts at Rito in chat? Rito has a surgery that he has to go through relatively soon. That you just should not Google the technical medical name of. I made mistakes. I made mistakes. Do not Google the name Ranula. I'm not even going to tell you how to spell it, so you can't. It's almost a shame to suddenly leave. But I have been live for almost 8 hours now, and I had 4 hours of sleep. So I am frankly absolutely damn amazed that I'm still in one piece rather than a puddle. So, for the moment, stay hydrated, by the way. Dash, I have drunk both of these complete in water. I am all good. 2 times the sleep radio. The VODs have just started releasing for this series, by the way, so if there are parts that you missed, or if you wanted to catch up, or if any of those kinds of things, the third list element, then they'll be over on youtube.com/RhapsodyPlays. That's a good old, I wonder if I can exclamation mark YouTube. Yeah, I'll do that, just in case anyone isn't here from YouTube. My name is Rhapsody. The name of the game has been The Outer Worlds. This has been the Republic Live for between the 5th and 17th of November, so a solid 12-day patch. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you all. Actually, hang on. Do I have anyone online to raid? Sorry, usually people aren't online when I have the ability to, but not necessarily at the moment. All right, for the moment, my name is Rhapsody. Hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you next time.
Cannot join Moon Crew because cannot wear helmet. Feeling left out from Moon Crew.
I'd
like to be part of your Moon Crew.
I'm sorry, Mr.
Captain,
Get over
Moon Crew.